Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Great news, my friends. It's one of the best days of the week. It's Sci-Friday, and today we'll be traveling back in time to 1960 so we can watch H.G. Wells's The Time Machine, directed by George Pal and starring Rod Taylor. Friends, all of the suggestions that you've given me so far, The Day the Earth Stood Still, War of the Worlds, Forbidden Planet, have been exceptional movies, and I've enjoyed each and every one of them. I can't wait to continue this exploration. So, if you know of any movies you would think that I might like, please put them down in the comments. I will let you know this. Them happens to be on its way. So I can't wait to see any other recommendations you give, my friends. You have not led me astray, and you've given me some of the best gifts ever. Great stories. If you could do me a favor, hit that like button, smash that subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. It greatly helps out a small channel and allows me to alert you next time it's time for Sci-Friday or any of our sci-fi fare. And of course, if there's anything that we do that you would like early or in its full-length format, the link to our Patreon is in the description. And if you're not a fan of Patreon, consider YouTube memberships. You'll get all of our episodes at least a day early. But my dear, dear friends, all that is then and this is now, and when is now? Now happens to be 1960 because we're traveling back in time to watch The Time Machine starring Rod Taylor. Prepare to engage maximum warp reaction. And away we go! Half past 7:30? Half past 7. I think one of my favorite things about going back and watching all of these older movies from the 50s and 60s, I really don't know many of the actors because, I'm just not familiar enough with the cinema at the time. And if they haven't crossed over to like Star Trek or Twilight Zone or something like that, I don't know who they are. And so this is just a really great introduction for me into what is the history and the golden age of cinema, really. I can't tell you how much I'm enjoying this because it's something I think about all the time. And I keep thinking there's just a whole world of things that I haven't seen yet. And I've enjoyed them so much. Damn, is this crisp.
Excuse me, Mr. Philby.
Mr. Philby almost was run over there. Wow, look at the chandelier with the open flame. Yes, it's me. It's funny, back there, the Twilight Zone episode started, and I'm assuming some type of club.
I say it's outright rude of the man.
He's merely being detained, that's all.
Oh.
This is such a confounded waste of time. If he's not coming, I have any number of more important things to do.
Well, speak up. What is it, woman?
He's not coming.
I've hardly seen him for some time. And he never leaves the laboratory. Only comes in and picks at his food. But he did tell me about dinner tonight, sir. And left those instructions.
George merely says that if he's not here by 8 o'clock, then we're to begin without him.
Oh.
He's usually most prompt, precise, and punctual.
Oh, he's making fools of us by inviting us here and then not showing up. It's not the behavior of a gentleman.
There's one thing I like about old George. He's got the best cellar in the south of England.
The south of England.
Yes, I think I'll drink to that.
I'll drink some more to that. Jesus.
A drink.
Calm those nerves, buddy.
I've got to tell it now, David, while I still remember it.
Relax. Try to relax. You've all the time in the world.
You're right, David. It's exactly what I have. Ever since we were together 5 days ago. It's the last day of 1899.
Oh, really? New Year's Eve, 1899, 5 days ago.
I wanted to finish the job before the new century began. I barely made it. Cheers, gentlemen.
Marvelous, old boy.
Yes, but what is it?
So that's why you've been in hiding, eh? That's very clever of you indeed.
I don't think George is referring to a new type of timepiece.
When I speak of time, gentlemen, I'm referring to the fourth dimension.
If you don't mind, George, would you refresh me on the first three dimensions?
Philby, surely they taught you something in school.
Suppose you explain it, Doctor.
Huh?
The Doctor, I think, is a nice place to visit in the Twilight Zone. But he had white hair and a gray beard. Pip.
Oh, that's mere theory. No one really knows what the fourth dimension is, or even that it exists.
On the contrary, Doctor. The fourth dimension is as real and true a dimension as any of the other three. Why is it that we usually ignore the fourth dimension? Because we have no freedom of movement within it. You see, we can move in the other three. Up, down, forward, sideways, backward, as the Doctor said. But when it comes to time, we are prisoners.
So you just accept it.
You follow me, Bridie?
No.
Gentlemen, all I'm asking you to do now is to witness a demonstration of the possibility of movement. Doctor, could I have your help?
Oh, certainly, certainly.
The Doctor's been wanting to get into that thing anyway. Is that little chair in the middle of it?
To carry a man, a larger addition is needed.
To carry a man? Where?
Into the past or into the future. This is a time machine. The larger model can be used to carry a passenger on a journey through time. Not through space, mind you, but through time.
I say, George, if you're going to start floating about in the future, aren't you going to rather mess things up for the rest of us?
No, the future's already there. It's irrevocable and cannot be changed.
That's interesting. He said the future's there, but it can't be changed. I always thought the past was that way.
And in front of him are the controls. Wait, let's do this properly. You can spare a cigar, I trust, Doctor? Now,
I didn't know you were going to break it.
backward pressure into the past. And the harder the pressure, the faster the machine travels.
Well, how does it work, though?
If it succeeds, I lose my model forever. That's why I need witnesses.
We have some skeptics here. My guy is so nervous, the guy that drinks a lot. Is there anything written on the dish? I'm done drinking.
I'll be damned.
It worked.
Well, it disappeared. We're not sure if it worked.
Do you realize? It's traveling through time. To the future, to be exact.
Do you really expect us to believe such a story?
Will you just... Well, certainly. Because we're in this room on the 31st of December, 1899, but the model we just saw is perhaps 100 years away by now. This room, even this whole house, may not be here in 100 years. But the time machine occupies the same...
Oh, he can't... It has to stay where it launches from.
All right. Suppose what you say is true. What do you expect us to do with such a contraption?
contraption.
Huh? How dare you?
But look here, George. Supposing you do go off and get lost in the 50th century or something.
Huh?
How are you going to get back?
Same way.
Even if you had invented a time machine or whatever you call it, what of it? What use would it be to anyone? Who would want to buy it? And how much would they be willing to pay for it?
Yes, George. Have you thought of the commercial
Really?
possibilities?
Not knowing the future?
Good Lord, it's your time to go, gentlemen.
Oh, yes. I'm sure we all have our plans for tonight.
Are you all right, George?
Yes, I'm all right, Bridie.
Coming, Bradwell?
I mean, the doctor's skeptical, but they all seem to be good friends. Concerned with him, about him. It'd be cool if the model came back, but they said the more pressure, so I'm assuming the farther, I mean, they seem to redline it, so.
George,
It's still there.
I'm not leaving here until you tell me what's on your mind.
Look, David, I appreciate the gesture. I just want to be left alone, that's all.
Did he already build it?
Why this preoccupation with time?
Why not?
Don't go simple on me, George.
Is there something he wants to change?
I don't much care for the time I was born into. It seems people aren't dying fast enough these days. They call upon science to invent new, more efficient weapons to depopulate the Earth.
All right. Take your journey on your contraption. What would you become? A Greek? A Roman? One of the pharaohs?
I prefer the future.
It's interesting.
David, you saw the experiment this afternoon, didn't you?
I saw a toy machine vanish.
It really doesn't mean anything.
Would you like to see the full-scale model?
No, I would not.
Yeah, I knew it. Yeah, I knew he already built it.
George, I speak to you as a friend. More, as a brother. If that machine can do what you say it can, destroy it.
You must have plans for New Year's Eve, David. Don't let me keep you.
You're a good friend, David.
Why don't you come home with me? You haven't seen wee Jamie for a long time.
I'm sorry I can't, David.
What's stopping you?
Well,
Taking a trip.
I want to see the old century out by myself, that's all.
Ha.
You promise you'll not go out of the house tonight?
I promise you I won't walk out the door.
Yeah, but he can keep that promise.
Look, just come over to dinner next Friday, will you?
Very well.
Fine. Bring the others with you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, David.
That's interesting, though. The coolest thing so far, if you've watched my time travel things, I have a lot of things that I love about time travel, but my favorite thing is learning the rules. Most places that do time travel, shows, books, whatever, have rules for the time travel. And if this is wherever he goes or wherever he disappears from, that's the spot. He can't move like spatially through the world. That's very dangerous because, like he said, something could change to the position that he's in, and he could appear inside of a mountain or underwater or...
Thank you, sir, but if you're not needing me, I think I'll turn in early and get some sleep. If I can. Good night, sir.
Good night. Oh, Mrs. Watchett, I've invited Mr. Philby and the others to dinner next Friday night.
Oh, yes, sir?
Happy New Year, Mrs. Watchett.
New Year, sir.
Is that the note that she gives to Davy or David? Okay, on the dish, that just looks like decoration, but it looks like on the outside it might be Roman numerals. Maybe not. No, it looks like just raised. No, it's not Roman numerals. Yeah, you might want to screw that in, as it seems to be a very important piece. No, that's coming into play later. That doesn't seem fixed. Got a yellow, red, and green globed light. I'm wondering if it means anything or if it's, again, just decorative. Got a light in the back, it looks like. Yep. So where are we going?
At first, I pushed the lever forward ever so slightly. And the laboratory grew faint around me. I stopped.
It doesn't look like anything changed, though.
But no, the clock said 6:31 when I started, and now it was 8:09. And the candle, shorter by inches.
Okay.
And yet by my watch, which was in the machine with me, only a few seconds had passed.
Okay. Okay. There wasn't like any special effects or anything. It just... Oh, look at that. Look at that.
My flowers flinging wide their petals to embrace the new day. And the hours speeding across the face of my sundial. And the flowers closing their eyes for the night. It was wonderful. Changes that normally took hours occurring in seconds.
And as yet I was traveling very slowly.
Well, you said you barely touched it. Maybe try going back first? Now we're cooking.
It became intoxicating. So I pushed the lever on toward even greater speed.
Oh, wow.
Thus I was able to see the changing world in a series of glimpses.
It's strange that the room isn't changing around him.
I began to grow very fond of that mannequin. Maybe because, like me, she didn't age.
How far have we gone? There have to be material changes being made to the world as far as, yep, like vegetation growth, like...
13 years had passed.
Yeah, okay.
And then suddenly the light was gone. What had happened? In the year of 1917, I stopped.
Somebody boarded up the windows. Did you see that? Okay, this makes way more sense. Damn. Jesus. Well, the note's not on the mantle anymore, so that was taken presumably by his housekeeper. Was it 1917? I should write that down. Private property, keep out. So who would be running the place now? I mean, he's been gone for 17 years. Can we get out of the way, dude?
Philby! Well, what are you doing? Going to a masquerade party?
It'll be son.
Were you
It'll be
addressing me, sir?
Jamie.
Philby, it's George. Well, I must say, I expected a little more enthusiastic a greeting.
I think you're confusing me with my father, sir.
Yes.
Were you a friend of father's?
Yes, sir. Yes, I've been away.
He was killed in the war.
A year ago.
Philby dies in 1916 in World War I.
Well, my father was executor of the inventor's estate, and father just refused to liquidate it. I often chided him on that account, but he felt positive the owner would return someday. People hereabouts think it's haunted, but...
David never gave up on you, buddy.
You mean you don't know we've been at war with Germany since 1914? I thought you'd just returned from France, perhaps. Or perhaps... Are you sure you're all right, sir?
Yes, I'm quite all right.
George, you had to expect things that were going to change, bud. I guess that's why nobody came into the house, or... So you can see. Awesome little touch. I never read War of the Worlds or The Time Machine, so I have absolutely no idea. I know some of the beats of H.G. Wells's Time Machine. I think I read like the illustrated kids version a long time ago. Man, depending on where he stops.
Suddenly, in 1940, I began to be buffeted from side to side. My first
The
thought was that
Blitz.
the machine had a...
I was wondering about that. He's going to think the world is constantly at war.
The last time I had stopped was in 1917, 23 years ago. And the war with Germany was still waging. Now in the air with flying machines. I decided to push on into time and see the outcome of this. Then my house was hit. The flames shot up into the sky and my home was gone in an instant.
Wow.
The years rolled by.
Interesting.
But what was this? Weird sounds all around me. What could it be? My curiosity compelled me to stop.
1966. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't want to leave.
Keep it moving here. Shove it on.
Air raid, okay. And while it's 1966, it's still 6 years beyond the production of this movie. So this is their interpretation of the near future at the very least. Park is dedicated. Dude, you might want to get on your machine because you don't know what's going on here. Also, let's hear it for Philby's department store, which has been in operation for quite some time.
Now, come along, come along.
But I'm perfectly comfortable here, Mr. Philby. I've got to talk to somebody. This is fantastic. Your store is magnificent. The splendid achievements,
It's got a monorail.
You look familiar. Haven't we met somewhere before?
Indeed we have, Mr. Philby. Right there. Many years ago. Now I recall the chap who inquired about my father and the house that used to stand across the way. That's impossible. You haven't changed.
Same age.
And your clothes.
You gotta be careful here, dude.
Look. Atomic satellite zeroing in. That's important. Come on.
Atomic satellite? Dude, get back to your machine.
Hurry! Hide till you're all clear. But Philby, I've got to talk to you.
Dude, time to go.
The labor of centuries, gone in an instant.
How did you survive?
But then Mother Earth, aroused by man's violence, responded with volcanic violence of her own.
Dude, get to the machine or there's no going back. Punch it. The miniature works pretty good. And if there's lava running down the streets, everybody in those fallout shelters, subterranean fallout shelters, they're probably waist deep in this shit right now. Go, dude.
Only my speed through time saved me from being roasted alive and encased in stone forever.
So it couldn't occupy the space?
How many eons must pass before the wind and rain could wear away the mountain that enclosed me?
Dude, it's going to be a bit. Oh my God.
Darkness for
You
centuries.
might want to go back, bud.
If man would still exist on Earth when I saw the sun again. The centuries rolled by.
My God.
I was free again. Thousands of centuries had passed, but the Earth had stayed green. There was no winter, no wars.
Something's building up.
Man finally learned to control both the elements and himself. I had to stop and find out.
Uh-oh. What was that that fell on him? Did it say like 802,000? Like we've gone, oh my God. That sounds like a metallic construction. The rest of it looks like stone though. And then we had like almost like a carving, like an Easter Island type of humanoid head type thing. That's smart. Okay.
Flowers, beautiful flowers everywhere.
That could be poisonous.
The whole landscape, one vast garden without any sign of weeds or briars. Trees and vines laden with fruit of strange shapes and colors.
Again, could be poison.
But it would be no paradise if it belonged to me alone.
Well, there's buildings and stuff, dude. There's somebody's building something. Now, I remember from my very limited experience with the time machine, and the only reason I remember this is because of the X-Men, that there's a group that lives underground called the Morlocks. And the reason why I know that is, in Uncanny X-Men back in the day, the Morlocks, mutants that lived underground, said that they named themselves for the H.G. Wells Morlocks. Oh, the table is set, but the dome is all destroyed. It's a good way to draw attention to yourself. Well, he's really trying to break that plate. I mean, other than the score, a lot of silence in this, obviously because we have one character that can't really talk to himself. We have narration, and that's about it. What's going on? That was like needlessly frantic. Well, this looks normal. Normal adjacent.
To bask in the sunlight, bathe in the clear streams, and eat the fruits of the earth with all knowledge of work and hardship forgotten.
Anybody?
What are you sit there, help her?
Why does everybody have like a Prince Valiant haircut? Not even a Prince Valiant, like a bowl. Now we assume they can speak English.
You all right?
Got my jacket back because it's got your thing in it, dude. It's got your lever. Is there a reason why everyone is blonde, too? Have you figured out, bud, that you didn't just lose a jacket?
Why did you
Why did I what?
come after me?
I did it to save your life. That doesn't seem to mean much to you or anybody else around here.
It doesn't.
Very curious world. Aren't you the least bit interested in who I am? Where I come from?
Should I be?
I wonder if they're like telepathic. I wonder if we've had any like evolution stuff.
Somebody I can talk to.
There is no one older.
You mean nobody ages in this land of yours?
No, because she knows what the word older means.
Weena.
Weena?
Look. Weena.
That's what I went with.
What are your people called?
Eloy.
Eloy.
No, going with what you say, bud. I wonder if it's forbidden to like have knowledge or... Well, who's preparing all the food?
You know, in my time, a berry that size would have been big news all over the civilized world. Excuse me, sir? Sir?
Can't you see I'm cultivating my bangs?
Courtesy has died, but I have come a long way, and I would like to know a few things. Why? What kind of government rules your world?
We have no government. Laws? There are no laws.
How are you surviving?
Doesn't anybody work?
No.
Well, where does all that come from?
It grows. It always grows.
Do they just have to pick it like it's perpetual?
I want to learn about you, about your civilization.
We don't want to tell you.
Yes, we have books. Oh, wonderful. I can learn all I want about you from books. Books will tell me what I want to know. Well, could I see the books?
I guess. So helpful. These get a lot of use, it looks like.
Yes, they do tell me all about you.
Haven't been touched in a while.
What have you done?
Why are you getting mad?
1,000,000 years. The sensitive men dying for their dreams. For what? So you can swim and dance and play.
Well, I mean, I guess. There's no reason to get super pissed off, but...
I'm going back to my own time. I won't even bother to tell of the useless struggle, the hopeless future. But at least I can die among men.
She's like, all right. No, dude, don't get lost. Oh, that door you knocked on, dude. Those bare feet. Greg's gonna make a list of time travel rules that he would abide by. Rule number 1, never leave time machine out of eyesight. Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. I mean, they were all weirded out. The Eloy, I don't even know how to pronounce it. Eloi. They were weirded out when the sun was going down, so that's not a great sign. I thought I saw the color of her dress. I'm pretty sure that's Weena. Yep.
Weena, what are you
I
doing?
heard you pounding. I came to warn you.
Weena, how do you open that panel?
No one opens it. Only the Morlocks. They give us the food we eat and the clothes we wear. We must obey their command.
Why have they taken my machine?
Please let us go.
Weena, I can't. My machine is inside there. I've got to wait here till morning and find some way of getting it out.
No, you mustn't.
Come on. Help me gather some wood.
I don't know. I'd be listening to her, dude.
That's the girl.
It's the most work she's done her entire life.
Where are you from?
Well, as a matter of fact, I'm from right here.
About 8,000 years ago, or 800,000 years ago.
From there up to those panels was my laboratory. And then beyond the panels was where my garden used to be. That was my library, where I once sat talking with friends about the time machine.
Huh. That'd be awesome if the miniature was there.
I'd hoped to take back the knowledge and the advancement that mankind had made. And instead, I find vegetables. The human race reduced to living vegetables. They're gone. Are you all right?
She hurt.
That was a Morlock, was it?
Yes.
Well, don't you worry. The fire seems to keep them away.
So we'll start a forest fire. George, to my knowledge, you have no weaponry.
What are you doing? Why did you put your hand in the fire?
I never saw it before.
What?
No knowledge of fire? No books, no.
You've never even seen it like spontaneously? Like a lightning strike or something?
You were safe inside your great house, and yet you came out into the night to warn me. The one characteristic which distinguished man from the animal kingdom was the spirit of self-sacrifice. I think all your people have it, really. It just needs someone to reawaken it.
That's a pretty big leap.
I do not understand you.
Weena seems to be different anyway. You know, she almost got herself killed in the water. Maybe she's more adventurous.
Try to tell me. The Morlocks. Who or what are the Morlocks? Are they animals or people?
Yes.
The past. Don't your people ever speak of the past?
There's no past.
You've seen our books.
Do they ever wonder about the future?
There's no future.
Do they even know those words?
And these rare moments have made the history of man, man's past, a glorious thing. I refuse to believe it's dead and gone.
Why?
I'm only a tinkering mechanic, but I'm sure there must be this hidden spark in one of your people. If only I can kindle that spark, my coming here will have some meaning.
George, seriously?
My efforts next morning to open the panel were fruitless. I had to find another way to retrieve my machine.
Vince?
Listen. Weena, you hear that?
They're gonna get her killed.
You mean those animals run machines?
They are Morlocks.
What does that mean?
Well, who told you?
The rings.
What sort of rings?
Rings that talk.
Rings that talk. Records? Trying to think of circular things that you might hear stuff off. Well, this is more up your alley, buddy.
These are the talking rings?
Yes.
What do you do?
Things no one here understands.
Make it talk.
Yeah, let's hear what he has to say here.
The war between the East and West, which is now in its 326th year, has at last come to an end. There is nothing left to fight with, and few of us left to fight. The atmosphere has become so polluted with deadly germs that it can no longer be breathed. There is no place on this planet that is immune.
Wow.
Factory for the manufacture of oxygen has been destroyed. Stockpiles are rapidly diminishing. And when they are gone, we must die.
That's so cool. As it slowed its spin, the voice slowed. Different color or same color?
That I am the last who remembers how each of us man and woman, made his own decision. Some chose to take refuge in the great caverns and find a new way of life far below the Earth's surface. The rest of us decided to take our chances in the sunlight, small as those chances might be.
That's awesome.
Learned how the human race divided itself, and how the world of the Eloi and the Morlocks.
Eloi.
The Morlocks had become the masters, and the Eloi their servants. The Morlocks maintained them and bred them like cattle.
For what
only
purpose?
to take them below when they reached maturity.
Oh.
Now I knew I must go below. It was the only means of finding a way up into the Sphinx to reach my machine and find out what happened to the little people when they did go below.
Don't go.
George, you're also older. Dude, be careful.
You won't come back.
I'll be back.
Is that like a warning? Did he trigger an alarm? It's like she's hypnotized. Dude, you can barely climb back out of here. George, buddy, you're too much of a thinker, man. You need to have like a Marine with you or a bodyguard of some type. They're all walking down there. I wonder if he's causing this or if this is just everybody is, this is where they like take the oldest.
We not stop!
Yeah, dude, good luck. Well, the door's open. The watch is closed. Yep. Dude, get in there, get it. Oh, Jesus, dude.
Stop! Well, what happens to them?
They don't know, dude. No one ever
Don't
comes
stand
out.
there like fatted cattle. Will you answer me?
That's exactly what they are.
There is nothing wrong.
It is all clear. What do you mean, all clear?
All clear.
The air raid siren.
There are no more flying machines, no more bombs, no more wars.
Well, you don't know that, but...
But there is nothing to fear. It is all clear.
What about the ones who went below? How do you think they're gonna come back?
They're not.
They never come back.
Yeah.
Well, I'll try.
All right. I wonder how savage we're going to get here. Like, really. Like, is he going to go down there and find, like... I mean, I'm assuming they're eating them, right? Like, that's the Morlock sustenance? Dude, George, my God, buddy. Is that like a... I wonder if that's like a chimney or like a smokestack from one of the factories. It looks like a bunch of buildup, like coal or some type of scoring. Can't see what these machines might be. God, every step, George, you make me think that you're gonna like kill yourself.
So this was the destiny of the Eloi.
Yep.
Bred by the Morlocks, who had degenerated into the lowest form of human life. Cannibalism.
Oh. Oh, wow. Love the effect on the eyes and the blink. Okay, so this is like an old, like, mechanical infrastructure. I wonder if they even know what these machines do. It sort of seems like they're very animalistic, you know? I mean, obviously eating them, and I mean, how intelligent are these Morlocks? You know, they are intelligent enough to make sure that the Eloi don't grow old enough, I guess, to question or fight back. They take them at a specific age. I don't think we saw any, like... I I don't think we saw any, like, pregnant Eloy, though, either. You know what I mean? You know how to use whips. That guy's like, hey, that's a cool idea.
Come to your senses, all of you.
Oh, wow. Yeah, dude, you're gonna one whip? Jesus, Jesus. Yeah, this went south quick. Who would have thought? Oh, wow. Great shot of the hand coming out of the curtain. Light that torch up, bud. Light something up. They look crazy cool. Oh, I love the way they look. There you go.
Give me something to burn. It's my last match.
Oh, she knew how to do that. There you go. Weena. Fast learner. Damn it. They don't seem to know how to fight. George isn't doing... I thought that George would be more of an academic. Apparently he's a practitioner of a little bit of the sweet science. Oh! Great choreography right there. Ooh! How he killed one of them, it looks like. They don't seem to be getting hurt by his punches, though. There you go, Weena. Jesus, George. Yeah, they're gonna dogpile him. Oh, my man's figured something out. Oh! Now you say you want a revolution. And again, though, you're messing up the... I hate to say this, you're messing up the ecosphere here because... Didn't they say the Morlocks gave them the food? So they're not going to know how to get their own food. Great stunt. Great stunt. Wow, that's a long time in a fire suit, man. Back in the day. You didn't find your machine, though, dude. Everybody else on the surface is going to be like, holy shit, we've never seen this before. This is the craziest 2 days ever. Good job, kid.
All the dead wood.
Oh, we're going to turn this place into a stove.
Do the same thing on the well. All the wood down the well.
Maybe he doesn't go back, right? But we saw him at the top of the show. Maybe, I don't know. Oh. Oh, great effect. That was a great effect. That sinkhole. In miniature, but still. So how does he make it back?
All right, let's go.
Because he looks like right now, he looks like he did at the top of the movie.
The underworld of the Morlocks was gone. And so was the life of leisure for the Eloy.
Are you sorry?
Sorry? Sorry for what?
That you have to stay?
Yes. I'm sorry because I could tell so much to the people of my time, Weena.
Warn them.
about the sorrow and the happiness that the future has in store for them. Maybe they could learn from it. Or could they?
I would love to see your time.
Mm-mm. You wouldn't be very happy there.
Do you have someone there? Someone like me?
No, no one like you. I have friends, of course, friends who'll miss me. As a matter of fact, I'm probably late already.
Huh?
As a matter of fact, there is one woman. But she looks after my house for me, and she's 62 years old and all wrinkled and nothing like you.
She's like, that's crazy talk. We don't have anybody like that.
How do they wear their hair?
Who?
The women of your time?
Oh, I don't know. Kind of up like that.
I was busy making a time machine. I
wish we could go back to my time. Or even to the time before that when the world was young. We could be so very happy.
Look! Look!
Look what, where? Is the door open?
My machine! Come on, Wiener!
She can't go, dude. Dude, just go. Go back. Until this shit's not here. Dude, it's time to go. Go, dude, go. Hit that thing. Oh, Christ, he got knocked out. Maybe not, maybe not. Are you going forward again? Yep. Oh, oh. Turn it back around.
I was going the wrong way. Back. Back. I had to go back.
Remember, you said don't stop it real fast. You went flying out the last time. Slow it down, buddy. Slow it down. The machine moved, though. Where's it going to end up? The machine's not in the same spot. Yeah, okay, that's so awesome. They thought of that, too. You could probably go around to the front door. Or break into your own house.
Well, it's the most ridiculous story I've ever heard. Absolutely preposterous.
Well, there's one thing I'll say for old George. You always could tell a good yarn. You're a truly great inventor, George.
Allow me to drink some more.
I can understand your doubt, my friends. Take it as a lie if you wish.
Tell your buddy not to go to war. Flower.
David, there's the flower Weena gave me. David, a present for you. You were always interested in botany. Try and match that with any species known today.
I don't think I can.
You look exhausted, George. You really should get some rest.
He does have good friends, though. Being skeptical doesn't make you a bad friend. Don't go to war. Tell him.
Good night, George. It's grand having you back.
Goodbye, David.
You're not going to warn him?
Thanks for being such a good friend, David. Always.
You're not going to try to warn your buddy that he's going to die in the war in 1917?
That flower couldn't possibly have bloomed in the wintertime.
You don't really believe that story's true, do you?
Maybe it's part of this story why he kept the house, because this would have happened, you know, before he advanced to 1918 the first time. Because I was curious about that. It made him the executor of the will, and he never got rid of it. Thought he would come back.
Mr. Philby, what?
He's gone.
Why, look.
I think I understand.
He moved it so it would be outside of the Morlocks thing.
This is where the time machine originally stood. But the Morlocks moved it. They dragged it across the lawn, right into the Sphinx, right there. So he dragged his heavy machine back in here, scratching the floor. so that he could appear outside the Sphinx again and help the Eloi build a new world.
Right where he left her.
Yeah. He must have taken something with him.
Nothing.
What would he have taken?
Except 3 books.
Which 3 books?
I don't know. Is it important?
Sort of.
Mr. Philby, do you think he'll ever return?
One cannot choose but wonder. You see, he has all the time in the world.
Well, I was wondering, David, about my job. How would I, where would I live? How am I going to get paid? How am I going to eat? But thanks for the philosophy. That'll keep me warm and fed on these cold nights. All right, everybody, we just finished watching 1960's The Time Machine, starring Rod Taylor, and the only thing left to do is talk about it. All right, everybody, we just finished 1960's The Time Machine, starring Rod Taylor and directed by George Powell. I thought this one was really interesting. Again, not knowing anything about the H.G. Wells story, I did know, again, like I said during the reaction, I knew the term Morlocks, but... I understood, again, getting them from the Uncanny X-Men during the late 70s and 80s, I guess. There was a group of mutants who couldn't pass for human. They had mutations that were very visible, very non-human looking, making them look alien or like creatures, or they couldn't walk around in the above areas or anything without drawing suspicion and gazes and condemnation and all that stuff. So there was a group that moved to like the sewers of New York, and they called themselves the Morlocks. And at one point during that, I remember them saying that they named themselves after the Morlocks from The Time Machine by H.G. Wells. And thus ends all I knew about The Time Machine. Really, really interesting. Great special effects. The miniature work was pretty good too. There was a lot of really cool kind of formulative rules for time travel in this one. And I'm wondering if they drug those directly from the book or if they made some additions and kind of changes for the movie that may not have existed in the book. But I'm assuming that this was a fateful adaptation, I would guess. Now, of course, Rod Taylor, we had him before in The Twilight Zone in the... what was the one where the 3 guys came back and they each started disappearing? I can't remember the name of it. Really, really good episode. And I recognized him, from that. And again, it's a really interesting type of thing. Twilight Zone has done wonders for me for just being able to understand sort of the maybe the major players of the day or some, not even the major players of the day, but more of the, the lesser known actors that did, and by lesser known, I simply mean ones that didn't escape their own era and become like timeless, Cary Grant, all these people that kind of emerged from different areas to become synonymous with the movie stars of the day. Rod Taylor, I didn't know before The Twilight Zone. And so that harkens back to one of the things I said at the very beginning. This has been an unbelievable joy, these explorations of not original, but 50s and 60s sci-fi. I get to see great performances, again, it's like wandering in, and again, I'm going to date myself right here. It's like wandering into a section of the video store that you've never seen before and being like, oh my God, all these movies and shows I haven't seen, I must experience them. And it turns out they're great. And when they're great, you just want to watch more of them, that's the predicament I find myself in right now. This one, though, and again, I always thought that The Time Machine, and this might just be me kind of making up facts in my head, but I always thought The Time Machine was a fairly large book. And for the reason why I say that is, it's almost like they didn't have a ton of source material to go with this one, because I know The Time Machine was written in the 1800s. So stopping and seeing World War I, stopping and seeing World War II, obviously those were things that were added into the movie, those specifics. And then like the atomic war that we had a kind of a prediction of that occurred in 1966, 7 years beyond the production of The Time Machine. That was their first kind of, and I don't know if H.G. Wells had added elements of that in before, like there would be some type of atomic war, but how would he know that in late 1800s. Maybe, maybe it could have been something, again, like humanity kills itself. Humanity, we're just self-destructive. It's in our nature. And that was sort of the kind of the segue to what would be the Morlock and the Eloi. God almighty, I can't remember how to pronounce that damn thing. But it was really good, and it was very thoughtful in its execution. There's a couple things in it that I enjoyed a little bit more than the others, and that would have been, I think that George was a little too rambunctious with his exploration and his sort of, I don't want to say it was flippant, but there was not a whole lot of thought put into what am I going to do when I get to the future, which is by no means a big deal whatsoever. There was just a couple things that, again, for continuity's purposes, would I have liked to have seen him get back to Weena? Sure. But again, when George kind of seems like the grass is always greener type of guy, because when he went forward, he wanted to go back. And when he got back, he wanted to go back to Weena. I mean, I get it, but what life is going to be like there. You're dealing with, I think that you've given the Eloi enough of a spark that they could become, that could have fired their own imagination, fired their own creativity. It seemed to anyway. It's almost like it begs for a sequel, right? If there was an ability to what happens next? Do you try to go farther into the future to see if the Eloi understand and rebuild society? Do you try to bring Weena back? I mean, any of these things could happen. And this is what makes me think that, again, and I don't know how much thought they actually put into this. And I'm not trying to kind of poo-poo the creatives or their imaginative or their narrative process or anything like that. But it almost speaks with David, Philby. With David, we know that in 1917, when he was talking to David's son, Jamie was like, yeah, Dad would never get rid of that. He refused to. And then we find out later during the Blitz that this was created into a park. Was it a park? No, it was, he didn't stop for the Blitz. He stopped at 1966. And then it was a park, from Philby to his good friend, George. He wouldn't have gone through all of that if he was certain that George was never coming back. You know what I mean? So it almost begs the question that George comes back more often than not. You know what I mean? Because we didn't have Philby anymore to kind of say, hey, did I ever come back again? We only had Jamie. And so where David might be able to say, yeah, dude, you came back 30 times. That would have been really interesting, right? But again, if you followed me for anything, I always want to have every single thing answered, which ruins the mystique of a lot of these shows. It ruins the imagination, or, our aspects as an audience to be able to see what was presented by the creatives and then, formulate our own things that could be going on. How would I use the time machine? Does it really matter if George comes back a whole bunch or brings Weena back to buy a dress off the mannequin? It doesn't really matter if any of that happens. It's the adventure and the journey and the imagination from the creatives and H.G. Wells initially that is then transferred into us as we begin to place ourselves into the situation. And that's, again, I think that's so often the case with this. What I'm considering, and again, I'm probably very wrong, a lot of you have told me there are earlier examples of sci-fi, what did you say, Metropolitan? Was that what it was? I forget. There's a bunch of kind of initial sci-fi that you all have said came in the 30s and the 20s, I think. So there's a ton of stuff that happened and occurred before this in cinema anyway. I mean, obviously H.G. Wells is in 1800s. So there was a lot of stuff that came before this, but I'm watching in the 50s and the 60s, and it's just, there's so many kind of original tropes that we have brought in. There's so many things that spark the imagination to the point of wanting to self-place, exchange roles with the protagonists that we have. The Day the Earth Stood Still, the War of the Worlds. What would I do if all of a sudden, in California, these things dropped down and started marching on Los Angeles? Really cool stuff. And I think that is, in many ways, that's the gift of cinema. That's the gift of seeing a visual medium, whether it be, and again, it works for stage plays too, when you actually see something, and it doesn't have to be something that kind of puts blinders on your imagination. It can be enough that when you witness it, it sparks the imagination and you take it in all these different directions. That's how I view these. I have such a great, it's almost like taking the trip with George or with other protagonists that we've had in these shows. And because of that kind of original feel to all of it, I feel more involved, more a part of this than I probably do in some of the more, modern offerings from science fiction. I mean, I think that's a good thing to end on too. There is a very real, very almost tangible feeling of inclusion in these earlier science fiction movies. Let me put it this way. I think that the best way to say this is because these movies that I'm watching right now from the 50s and 60s occurred in the past, it's almost like they're more realistic than the things that we're watching that are supposed to occur in the future. You know what I mean? Because all the ones that I've watched so far, with the exception of Forbidden Planet, Day the Earth Stood Still, War of the Worlds, and now The Time Machine, all take place in the past, things that I can relate to and things that I understand existed at some place. When you take a jump and you go even to Star Trek, I'll throw Star Trek into this, Star Trek, Star Wars, especially, there is a level of, obviously you look at that and it fires your imagination, but there's no real context to it, I can't imagine, I've never met a Jedi Knight, but when we look at things like this and look at War of the Worlds, I've met military personnel. I've met scientists. I've met eccentric scientists, all of these things that we look at. I've been to DC. I know that that's how DC would have reacted in The Day the Earth Stood Still. There's a measure of familiarity with these older movies that I think really, that's like a missing component for me. That's the thing that now when I experience it, I want more of it. And I think that's why I'm so drawn to these science fiction movies from the 50s and 60s. It's just easier to kind of slip into the shoes of the protagonists. Regardless, friends, another fantastic offering. Please keep those suggestions coming. The movie Them is definitely coming. That's on my list. Anything else, friends, please put it down in the comments. I am desperate to see as many all of these greats from the 50s and 60s that I can. I want them all, friends, whether or not they're considered to be classics or they were popular or if they were wildly unpopular but became cult classics. I want to see them all, friends, because this has been, pun intended, a big trip for me. I absolutely love it. You can do me a favor, hit that like button, smash that subscribe, ring that bell for notifications. It greatly helps out a small channel and allows me to alert you next time it's time for Sci-Friday or any of our sci-fi fare. And of course, if there's anything that we do that you would like early or in its full-length format, the link to our Patreon is in the description. And if you're not a fan of Patreon, consider YouTube memberships. You'll get all of our episodes at least a day early. But my dear friends, all that is then and this is now. And now, unfortunately, it's time for us to say goodbye from 1960's The Time Machine, directed by George Powell and starring Rod Taylor. But where should we say goodbye from? Because, friends, as always, we are the Greek Chorus. We are the group, now that the original creatives over at The Time Machine, George Powell and friends, they created a show that they wanted to get as many ears to hear and as many eyes to see. They wanted an audience for this tale that they were telling. And that's where we come in. We take up that mantle. We go around and find people that haven't seen The Time Machine and say, hey, you really need to check out this great show, this great movie. And thus we continue to expand the audience. It's a dutiful service that we provide to this movie from 1960. And as part of our reward, we get to jump back into the movie we just saw and become a part of the narrative ourselves by including ourselves in a favored scene. But we'll do something a little differently with The Time Machine because we have eternity open to us. Friends, we are not George. We are ourselves. We know the protagonist's story, but we're in his shoes now with his time machine, and we can go any when we want. Friends, it's up to you. The future, the past, or stay where you are. Wherever you stay or wherever you end up, my friends, I hope to see you there. Or at the very least for our next Sci-Friday. Until such time, my friends, Vulcan roll, and I'll see you.